bring that back to something. So I've made this argument, this solidarity of no, that ultimately you have a situation where the party itself tells its people that they have nowhere else to go. And in telling people they have nowhere else to go, the people say, you're right, that they're effectively the political equivalent of an abused spouse. Beat you, slap you, hit you, crack addicted, alcoholic, and yet progressives still within the Democratic Party, still making ham sandwiches to the person who does it. They don't go anywhere. And if you're in this fundamental situation where it's always you have nowhere else to go, you still allow the party to effectively do whatever they want to do because they still come back to, we can do this, and you're still going to be here in the morning. So you can have a Bill Clinton, you can have an Obama. And I make this argument, what happens if Hillary Clinton gets elected in 2020, she passes some bill that privatizes Social Security, what Bill Clinton wanted to do. She passes a Trans-Pacific Partnership, says she's not going to do it, but she changes the period and they say, see, I changed it. The world is great. Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yes, Hillary Clinton. And she invades, she put a missile defense shield in Syria. She's running against Ted Cruz in 2020. What happens? I can literally guarantee you that all of those people who've been out there saying, well, you have to vote for her this time because, Donald Trump would be saying the same thing about Ted Cruz. And you can replicate that to 2024, 2028. Listen, I want to show one minute. Let me make this point. Listen to this for the moment, because I think this is everything that's wrong with the party. I'm going to share this to everybody. Here we go. Here we go. Listen to his argument here.
Would you still vote for Obama if he promises to build fewer concentration camps than Romney? The answer is an unequivocal, absolute yes.
Do you hear what he said? He literally said he would vote for Obama if Obama was building concentration camps. Now, the point that I get here is, say for the moment, follow that logic out. Obama says, I will build one concentration camp less than Romney in 2000, let's say 2008. Let's say McCain. One concentration camp less. Obama decides to build 8. McCain decides to build 10. Obama decides I'll build a few less in 2016. So let's say he builds 10 in 2016, and let's say Romney builds 12. You've expanded the number of concentration camps that the people have been building because you've consistently voted for the lesser evil, making this argument as if just because this other party is full of maniacs, that you can have somebody who's a little bit less of a maniac and have that maniacness essentially get worse and worse and worse, even though you're just making the comparison to the other party that it's a little bit less. That's nonsense. Like, that's utter nonsense. You literally in perpetuity end up with something worse because you've always invested yourself in voting for the lesser evil. This makes no sense. What is wrong with these? Why do some of these people have this point of view, Jimmy?
What?
Yeah, why? Sham Seder and his work wife, I can't think of his name, makes this argument all the time that they need to, support. Do you know, I listened to the thing one day where the guy said you need to be tactical and strategical. The same guy who said vote Clinton, that this is somehow going to get rid of capitalism.
I'll think tell you that it's literally we've been doing this. It's how tactical is doing the same thing we've done for the last 40 years
in perpetuity,
and promising to do it forever. So that whole thing of I'm going to promise my vote to Hillary and then fight her on day one. Well, she already has your vote. So
yes, your vote. She's in office.
The only leverage.
Just one more point. And then the very 4 years, they're going to do the same thing again of voting for the woman again, regardless of what she does in the office, because they've already promised her vote in perpetuity. I'm sorry. I get annoyed by that clip because it's one concentration camp less Sam Seder. And it's like, what?
Well, all I can say is that when people continue to vote, that same strategy of lesser of two evil, that's literally the Democrats' plan.
Yeah,
is that we'll give them where else they got to go. I mean, if you know what the Pied Piper strategy is, the WikiLeaks revealed that they know that they're repulsive and that no one likes them or their policies. So what they have to do is prop up a criminal clown in the other party so they still have someone who's actually more repulsive than them. That's their whole strategy. That's not, we're going to move the ball farther ahead a little bit. That's taking steps backwards every 4 years. You're taking giant leaps backwards. And Barack Obama took us, so we have to figure out a way to oppose neoliberalism that has captured both parties, corporatism that has captured both parties, and continuing to pledge your vote for them isn't an effective strategy to counter that, because you see what's going on up and down the ballot right now. They're cheating progressives every step of the way.
Yes, they are.
They're the party, and so
I think in order to do that, you have to scare the shit out of the party. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you, and I don't mean to. There's a slight lag, so there's like a gap, and when I hit a gap, I always think it's stopping. I'm sorry. Please finish.
So I'm subscribed with Cornel West and Nick Brana and Chris Hedges that we need. If you look, and Shama Sawant, who says if you're a progressive, that the road into the Democratic Party for progressives leads to a graveyard. Yeah. And she said, when I had to fight for $15 minimum wage in Seattle, I had to fight against the Democratic mayor to get that done. So when we want to, so no matter who we voted for last November, we're going to have to fight both parties to get single payer. We're going to have to fight both parties to end fracking. We're going to have to fight both parties to end our runaway Pentagon budget and our war machine. We're going to have to fight both parties. And so, and this whole idea that every other goddamn Western democracy in the world can have multiple parties, 3, 4, 5, 6 parties, but somehow the United States, that's just some kind of fairy dust pipe dream. There's no way we can have, that's too hard. It's too hard, Jimmy. It's not hard to get money out of politics. It's not hard to get a progressive as president. Everything's hard.
Everything's hard. And not to mention, there's this other point of, we have no other movements. Like, it's not like during, the 30s and the 40s where you had like the unionists, you had the socialists, the communists, you had all of these things pushing and tugging on the Democratic Party. You don't have that now. Ultimately, these guys are just terrified of losing. The thing that you have, I always say, if you want to save the Democratic Party, you need to leave the Democratic Party. This thing of the alcoholic, crack addict, drug addict husband that realizes that that person either needs to change or that person dies on the bench. In either case, it needs to change. This process of continuously voting for the lesser evil needs to change. As long as they know that your vote is captured, there's no reason for them to change. Well, if that means that they need to lose, then they need to lose.
Hey, I'm not, all I know is that doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. People don't realize what a disaster Barack Obama was. That's the big problem, right? So people still think Barack Obama was this good guy. Barack Obama's a war criminal.
He sings really well, Jimmy.
Barack Obama took us from 2 wars to 7. Barack Obama, who do you think dropped more bombs, George Bush or Barack Obama? Barack Obama dropped 100,000 bombs. George Bush dropped 80,000 bombs. Barack Obama was worse than George Bush when it comes to being a military, a tool of the military-industrial complex. Barack Obama didn't prosecute torturers, so now we have a torturer as the head of our intelligence agency. That's a great message to send to the world, right? Barack Obama opened the Arctic to drilling twice, whenever Shell Oil asked them, by the way. Barack Obama, did he not oversee the biggest transfer of wealth? So he kicked 5.1 million families out of their homes. Instead of saving their homes, he kicked them out of their homes at the behest of the banks because they would make more money if they kicked them out. He didn't put on a saw. He let the union get taken away from the teachers in Wisconsin, and then Hillary went on to lose Wisconsin, and then they blamed women and progressives, and they blamed another country. So people
and blacks. They said blacks weren't sufficiently loyal to Hillary Clinton, with 90% of them voting for Hillary Clinton.
Well, Barack Obama was not the lesser of two evils. He was actually the greater evil because he could make people think he was doing good things while he was implementing a neoliberal agenda that was harming everyone except the 1%. That's why I think my whole idea is let's have Trump put the ugly face on our immigration policy. And you know what's funny? People are rightfully upset about the 1,500 kids separated that they can't find from their families who are immigrants. But that stuff had been going on all along. And so I don't know if you noticed that people were tweeting out pictures of kids, immigrants in cages.
In cages, yeah.
Saying, this is horrible. This has to stop. Well, those pictures were from when Obama was president in 2014. So nobody gave a shit when it was Barack Obama. But now that Trump's face is on it, everybody now has a chance to coalesce, express their outrage, and mobilize so we can change this policy. You know, people say, you want Trump to be president? No, of course not.
No.
Of course not. I wanted Bernie Sanders to be president. And after that, Jill Stein. I wanted anybody but those two parties, those two corrupted corporate warmongering parties of the banks. I wanted anybody, but they go, you know, now Jeff Sessions, Jimmy, is going to be the head of the Justice Department. He's a full-fledged racist. I go, I don't know if you noticed, but our criminal justice system is full-blown racist.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good that we have a racist face on the head of a racist justice system instead of someone who puts the left to sleep like Eric Holder. Instead of having a black guy in charge of a racist criminal justice system, now we have a racist in charge of our criminal justice system, and everyone knows it's a racist criminal justice system.